Do you remember this girl? Of course you do. She left this country years ago with friends, should we say, and she never came back. We know what she did, what she was about, what she knew, and how she lived her life, and a fair bit of information about what happened to her, and more importantly, where she is now. There's been a lot of drama and a lot of critique over her situation over the years, along the lines of she's not welcome back here. Her British citizenship should be stripped, and she should be as far away from the British Isles as possible. And this debate goes on. Now, what you have to understand with not only this government that we've got now, this Labour lot, who are a complete disaster, but previous governments also, things go on behind closed doors that we don't know about. And you get a controlled release of information all the time. And then when something big happens that we can't do anything about because it's too late, you know, we know where we are. Look at what happened with Afghanistan, with all of the people coming over here. And we only got to know about it after they'd arrived. Case in point. Well, this one's a bit of a big secret, I think. And I want to show you the news article which covers it now, and we'll talk about it.
Good evening. Today, it's been claimed that the British state has been secretly sneaking ISIS brides back into Britain for years. 6 women linked to Islamic State, held alongside Shamima Begum, have been quite...
Right. British state. Did you see how he actually addressed the situation there? British state. I get the feeling he knows what's going on. Anyway, let's listen.
Quietly brought back to the UK. That is according to the director of a camp that holds these jihadi brides. Now, before any bleeding heart liberals pipe up and say, oh, these poor women are victims, can I just remind you of the fact that Shamima Begum knew exactly what ISIS were doing when she travelled over there to join a genocidal Islamic death cult. Here she is speaking to the media back in 2019.
Did you know what Islamic State were doing when you left for Syria? Because they had beheaded people, there were executions.
Yeah, I knew about those things, and I was okay with it.
Did you hear that? Did everybody hear that? I knew about those things, and I was okay with it. You know, when she was a young girl and she left here, then there might have been a case for trying to, you know, get her back again. But you get to a point where no, that's no longer the issue. It's what she took part in and what clear and present danger she and the others may present to us if she was allowed back. And unfortunately, that's where we are now, in my opinion. Let's see where else this goes.
Bingo. There you go. Women can be just as radical or even more radical than men. A report by the Henry Jackson Society in 2019 found Muslim girls were more active when it came to seeking out extremist material online. And let me introduce this monster.
Have a look at this.
This is Sally Ann Jones, okay, known as the White Widow. She was born in Greenwich, married a jihadi, wanted to recruit an army of Islamist women. She was behind a plot to assassinate the late Queen and Prince Philip. She used social media to tell people how to make homemade bombs. In 2016, she issued specific calls for Muslim women to launch terrorist attacks in London, Glasgow and Cardiff during the month of Ramadan.
Now, talking about giving instruction on how to make certain things, does anyone remember the Jolly Rogers cookbook from years ago? Absolutely years ago. It's one of those things where you can find about how to do just about anything. Yeah, these people are selling it wholesale, you know, and want to bring it here. And it's unbelievable how all this has been allowed to take place. Let's carry on with Patrick.
It is dangerously naive to say that women cannot be as bad as the men when it comes to jihad. And we've reportedly let some of these ISIS brides back into Britain. Shocking. We've apparently allowed hundreds of actual ISIS fighters to come back to Britain as well. In fact, more than 400 of them. Here's Sadiq Khan being grilled about it shortly after the London Bridge terror attack.
How many of those 400 have come back to London?
The estimate is just over half. It's one of the reasons why it doesn't make sense for the government to be cutting resources from those.
Where are they? You're the mayor of this capital city. Where are they?
I can't follow 400 people. What I can do is make sure with policies, because what we can do though is make sure that the resources for the police and the experts to follow.
Or you just couldn't let the jihadis in. You know,
that would be very simple, wouldn't it? As Patrick said, don't let them in. But the thing as well, did they leave here in the first place to go over there and do whatever? So are they British? In which case, back in they come. And there will be very little, if anything at all, that you'd be able to do to stop it from happening. It's the same old argument again that I've covered on the channel before. This is why things like this happen in secret. This is why we don't know about it until it's too late. GB News in this case, which is obviously reform propaganda stereo, or at least that's how it comes across, has blown the whistle on it. But it's very, very valid. Very valid. And it's happening right under our noses.
Is an option, isn't it? I mean, the fact that previous governments appear to have been sneaking ISIS brides back into Britain could be used by Shamima Begum's lawyers. Begum is taking her case to the ECHR. They're going to take one look at this and, mark my words, she'll be back in Britain before you can say Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, there you go. ECHR challenges removal of Shamima Begum's citizenship. Now, remember what I said about the ECHR. It's not a case of, in this case, her rights are more important than our rights. It's that they're all equal under the ECHR. She's got as much right to be here and function as I have to be here and function. That's the whole thing with it. So while I live here and I should be prioritised, she's equally as important under the ECHR. And it's spun by the politicians to, you know, all sorts of things.
This is just like the Afghan resettlement scheme all over again.
Correct.
Around 40,000 Afghans were secretly brought to Britain at a cost of billions of pounds after successive governments tried to cover up the fact that there'd been a data breach that supposedly left them at the mercy of the Taliban. But they bungled it. They imported criminals and people who've been referred to the terrorism watch list. The Telegraph reported that.
I've got a friend from there, and he has lived in this country for years, set up life, works very hard, got a family and everything else. And he still has family over there. And he went back there when everything was kicking off. And we were quite worried about him because we were like, well, is he going to get out again? And thankfully, he did manage to do so. And I think he just wanted to make sure that his family that was still over there were safe, but it was a complete balls up. And there doesn't appear to be any checks done whatsoever of the people that came back in here. It's a disaster. Yet another one in a long line of them. And we're being governed by sheer incompetence.
Shock horror. Some of these blokes might actually be linked to the Taliban. Who could have seen that coming? What are our leaders doing to us? And I need to remind you that you weren't allowed to know about the ISIS brides or the Afghans. I think they never wanted you to find out the truth. I think they are willing to put you and your family at risk to hide it from you. You have every right to be very angry about that.
Yeah, he's right. You do. You know, we've got various properties being put up all over the place. We've got loads of building projects going on around my way at the moment. You've got disused military barracks. You've got hotels. You've got, I mean, if you have a look at a tweet that Rupert loaded the other day, he uncovered literally billions of pounds in expenditure to go towards all of this sort of thing. It's mega money changing hands every single day. And who's at risk here? It's not the bigwigs in the square mile. It's you, it's me, it's our families. And they quite obviously don't give a shit. When's it going to stop? Is it going to stop? Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.